bebre every day obie entra obotwa enra na yo samo nyina mo omo di dumso levy aba dumso levy so first no mo say e-levy na yedi aba omo be yi e-levy no omo be yi ene omo di dumso levy aba. It is 8 times the e-levy. Omo nsusu anye and then uto 1 liter of petrol 1 cedi na obetua. Uto 1,000 cedis of petrol obetua 83 cedis. 83 cedis as tax. E-levy no usende obi 1,000 momwa obetua 10 cedis. Omo ene betua 4,000 obetua 83 cedis for fuel. We nimu nyina more beba. By the time yebedu 2028 no Ghana nyina behu se omo twa ntro bebre mimi gidi se omo beka nkire yen se yensa amba bio embafa aban no ensiesie Ghana.
They say that they will use this money to address Junso and then to also help deal with the energy sector debt.
Really, I've also heard comments from officials of the government saying that this has nothing to do with any debt and that this has everything to do with populating, the accounts or the funds of the energy sector to be able to keep the lights on. No, I'm not even getting into the matter of doing so or not, and also whether or not this is required to deal with doing so. I'm dealing with the principle, the principle of cost of living, and what the NDC stood for when they were in opposition, what they fought against, e-levy, and not too long after they won elections, the position taken by the finance minister that we should not have additional taxes or tariffs. 6 months down the road, with all that is happening in our country, the cost of living, issues of livelihoods, and so on and so forth, and what the government fought against and stood for, and the commitments they made to bring about relief to the ordinary citizen. And just 6 months, we've had increment in electricity tariffs, water tariffs, and here we have a levy being slapped on the ordinary citizen once again. Just 6 months into government. I mean, I think that that really the principle of it, and the fact that there's a clear departure from the promises and commitments which were made to alleviate the sufferings of the Ghanaians. But what about something dramatic, something catastrophic happening to the NPP in 2024? But then again,
so some say the economy was to blame, the management of it, the internal issues, and all those issues.
You lose elections based on several factors, and I am to look forward. I am not to look backwards. I look backwards to take lessons.
Right.
And therefore, I'm not going to get involved in blame game. I mean, this person did that person did that. When you lose elections, it will be as a result of multiple reasons, and the responsibility for that will be a collective responsibility. It will not be an individual's responsibility. And so I will say it is a collective responsibility of all of us in the NPP that put us in a position where we lost the election in the manner that we did. Now, having said that, look, a lot that is happening today about the NPP and the rest will all subside, God willing, when we go through our internal processes of electing national executives and the presidential candidate. I am very optimistic that a lot of it will subside and the party will regroup and rally together and put ourselves together to be able to go for the crucial election of 2028.
What be a koso of my Ghana? Yana the reference to Jamu, straight away, Pacho, Jamuna, the echo straight away, and Yana, Mamma Dasebe Aquaba, Lady and Kono, I say so. And come be a koso of my Ghana. Because many Fred yin mean who say a baby ba. I'm what tricky Ghana for a chain. The government of John Dramani Mahama. Because we are tricking us anything. And some more can opposition. Any do ba bem wakan na ka yepe. Na so de wo ye no enyepe. Ebo abra. Was obey e-levy because Ghana for deserve we say be e-levy. You bet me generate revenue. Abraham first new taxes and the toll travel phobia enka ho. President Mahama ne kan. In fact, Dr. Kesela to forcing President Mahama nominated as finance minister. After finance ministry now will call yellow. Vetting Ujananum. Finance minister say was steady Ghana economy no. And was steady pa what kind on one kind was steady che will be what king kan. No was steady yellow. What to me who say Ghana ye nya a total travel for bia. Adia ye here Ghana and one compliance. Compliance ne say a tona a that was a piano. Anybody bring in tia. And according to one finance minister, wow, ye Ghana ni and now ye more my Ghana will be a so to piano or be make you sure say we be to na revenue as a percentage of GDP the Krempono was up pejam by 6%. Abra won fe a total for bia enka ho. You say say ujafo now be ni danya no wasi the chance no kasa hye the hwim o me the Ghana economy ni di minimu pa mesua pa the minimum mesua etino hu hia tofufu bia na wo be ni den wanya me the Ghana economy di mesua pa o minimu ma tombo asesua enti atotutu afofo de obiaka so the budgets with the economy num the no one compliance and the person mutu ato no esetim ka che obiase wontua Ghana for see you yemi ehwe afa wo ba ya ena nyam etina nyam why budget ne say afie da yanimu no sika Ghana for Ghana ban behia no wadi ahwe ye nyina sika no say the tie wo behia sika do sei ekwa be na befa so nya say sika no ese wo tro to the parliament wo bia no wasa kire eniema wo di sika no ebeye na di sika no waka me di sika we beye sei me dey say for the whole year but Ghana constitution ni say emre kola ni mu no sakra betimi aba ete bia obetebe hia de foforo bi enu tie se efe bi mid-year review budget statement now also the parliament ya kakota year review budget statement why your budget for the year 3 months into implementation of your budget na wa fakuntina se wa nya announcement anche wo bia one can't check Ghana ni bia said the make your parliament ni wo ko parliament majority leader Mahama Yarga no ko kan asumusen bia che minority leader am ko am na fa no marking o ka se begu na asum say oh ene the more expected bi fufuro ye dia de bi bebe certificate of agency as emergency bi de be banti no e ba mo de mu nyam mwai and was de ba de na mo de ba wanka well nyeshi omoti hono wa bam yes certificate of agency as emergency e de na mo de ba an Ghana energy sector no atetia pansam ehu behia se ye benya sika e de akotua ka ehu behia se benya sika e de akotua e ka e da ho legacy debt bi e da ho dia ya anye sa de a ye beda sumu dumso eba etie di dumso levy eba ade amusi dumso eni ho ade na mudi dumso levy eba okay dumso levy na mode ba no se esenya 1 cedi per liter 1 cedi per liter enti we talk 1 gallon here 4.5 liters na 1 gallon beer na we beto say na 1 gallon we talk na 50 cedis a ya the 4 cedis 50 pesos aka ho it is we 55 cities the ma wo mo 1 cedi per liter this a Shylock levy, cut throat levy and omodiaba cut throat ukwaka na NDC communicators and some NDC appointees ko pokase na car president Kufuor na bugu ho na John Mahama de Esla ade pomo ntia se oye ya wo de Esla ba no de Esla na e de body when the boss aka no President Mahama free aban 2017 January 7th eko a car was the job President Kufuor incoming president was $2.5 billion a can kuan wa boagu home no be mo bi o won kuan $2.5 billion and was what the Esla bia ba say ye de betuatua sa aka no say Esla se kan na ye adwuma tua aka na say ka Mahama aircon 2017 no ese ko sa aka na ka atua eso ko le kan da so da $2.5 billion President Mahama apart from $2.5 billion no every year bia na Ghana ban efa $500 million $500 million at the IPPs be independent power producers be because of a very ridiculous agreement take or pay and say hey media ma produce ubefo one fo kilabetia wenya kilentia kilabetia utia wo so beji o wan ye ubetia se bi produce o man produce o ubetia kilabetia na President Mahama yes ade man no every year $500 million ni etua President Kufuor no say we was starting ma honorable wacheja akobo no say be ade we di yampini and mo start renegotiation sa na obututwa bi mu free mu 8 years President Kufuor be ye president for 8 years woko eka $2.5 billion na John Mahama di jaye 2017 sa kana na do so di jaye to afa bi anka ho okodi ba bi a legacy debt left by John Mahama na main charge by providence and a coincidence and the was back to meet your own legacy debt which you left in 2017 esangu ho twen wo kana we 2017 John Mahama and one was ababa to o say hunahuna ho o say egu ani maseye o say titi wo na nnu nwumrasa metie de me say konfoi fakadam a corn government afedi John Paul energy minister say as levy no modiaba no ye fa ko energy ye fa say debt no ye de beto crude oil ye de beto light crude ye de beto finished products ye fa ko tuabosia no na no pena da se beje dwam na ka se bache me ho ahwere be wo se John Mahama de ne hana me sa den a wo se John Mahama say sa 1% no 1 cedi per liter no modi abeto so no it will not affect export price just a woko fuel station na woko to a untia tisgelendia it is affect the dia modi to so ye dey tabra mbaji se ska no is President Mahama telling us say I didn't implement here yentua na yentua da modi to so ye dey that's why to say ye bie na e kan ni ehu ade kro bo ewom ni ehu ade kro ewom say wo se ya ankasa
you want why the interest in Ablekuma North?
Well, but when elections are conducted, the results of the elections have to be declared, shouldn't they? We have 276 constituencies in Ghana, and 275 of those have been declared. What at all is the reason why Ablekuma North has not been declared 6 clear months after the elections were held? I think we have to have answers to that.
And there's been demands, some say we should have a total rerun. The court hasn't come to such a decision. What is left is some few electoral areas to be added up to what has already been collected and the declaration is. Do you really need to tell the police to do their work? Because I think that in practice they should be doing that. Nobody should go and ask them to do their work.
Well, I think it's important that we all acknowledge that in a democracy, institutions must work. And if institutions are not up to the task, you will have citizens groups and political parties taking measures of their own, which is the last thing we want to have in our country. And therefore, if the Electoral Commission has come out formally to indicate that what they require to be able to bring the Ablekuma elections to closure,
right,
and some firm conclusion, is protection from the Ghana Police Service. What is preventing the Ghana Police Service from doing that? I mean, I find that whole situation totally bizarre. And I believe the minority, we've taken this position, the position we've taken in the protest, which was waged by the minority, rightly so, today, is essentially to bring to the front burner and to demand and insist that the police are up to task and live up to their responsibility by providing security and protection for the Electoral Commission to discharge its mandate of declaring the results of Ablekuma. The people of Ablekuma deserve representation in Parliament. And as we speak today, isn't it totally anomalous and a scandal that there is a whole constituency for 6 months without representation?